Hey, what's happening, everyone? Carolina Weather Authority meteorologist Joshua Nagelberg with another potential, that's the word I'm going to use today, storm that we're monitoring at least at this time, at least what we're seeing on a few of the models, mainly the European. Certainly not a slam dunk forecast. Anybody who knows me and really any of the good forecasters in the South knows that it is just not possible to pin down a snow forecast in the deep South more than maybe 2 or 3 days out. So all we can really do at this point is speculate, because I think that's better than just kind of sitting back and dismissing it when, in fact, it could happen. And those of you here in North Carolina and Virginia might remember what happened 2 years ago today. One of our biggest storms in recent memory. Not where I live in Garner. We got about an inch of snow and it went right over to rain. But my friends in northwestern Wake County and in Durham County picked up 8 or 9 inches of snow. So they overachieved and I underachieved. My friends in Richmond actually picked up 14 inches of snow, and parts of Greensboro and the Triad had as much as 18 inches of snow. Now, that was not all forecast and definitely not 6 days out. So my point to you is all I'm going to do is speculate for you guys. How does that sound? So the weather pattern in place right now, it's still pretty chilly here in the southeast. We did have some wet flakes that moved through in the afternoon, evening in the triangle as expected, at least the possibility of that happening back on Monday. Nothing too special for us. Up in Richmond, I think we picked up close to an inch of wet snow, but it didn't really stick around. And then it got cold, of course, as the skies cleared Monday night. Now we'll see temperatures rebounding here in the next couple of days, so it'll actually be on the mild side as we head towards the weekend. Another storm system is going to move our way, though, and then after that, it gets colder. And the biggest question mark that we always ask ourselves is, will there be a combination of moisture, an upper level feature, and cold air? Because you usually get one or two, but not always three. And that's why it's tough to promise a white Christmas. But it does happen from time to time, and that's something I'm going to be examining for you guys. So if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'd appreciate that. And we'll have more coming up in the next couple of days. And at this point, all I can promise you is that this may not even happen, or we could have a decent-sized storm like we saw 2 years ago. So, and 3 years ago, farther south, there was a decent-sized snowstorm as well. Parts of Texas, Louisiana, all the way up into Alabama. Some places picked up quite a bit of wet snow. So this time of year, that can definitely happen when you have an active southern jet and you've got some blocking over Greenland, which allows cold air to pour down for the northern United States. So earlier today, we did post an article at least talking about the European model from the 0Z run. Now, the 12Z is not showing this as much. Which doesn't surprise me one bit because, again, we're talking 5-6 days out. You're not going to see an exact model run that agrees with the next one this far out. So this is not our exact forecast, but it is something we're watching, and I think you guys need to know that because you'll see it on Facebook and on Twitter that people who get a little bit excited are going to post about it. And, of course, you'll see the TV meteorologists say, don't follow the internet because these guys don't know what they're talking about. How about I give you guys a happy medium and say it's just possible? How does that sound? So comment if you agree that we would love to see this, but don't get your hopes up yet. So this was the run from this morning, showing significant snow from Mississippi and Alabama right on into the mountains of Virginia and West Virginia and up towards about Philadelphia and New York City. Now the latest run does not show that happening, and we'll take a look at that for you guys as well. Let me back this up here real fast so we can get that. This is WeatherBell Premium commercial, and here's what I'm going to show you guys. How does this sound? Give me just a sec because it's loading a lot of information here. All right, so North America. Of course, it never works when I tell it to. All right, here's what we're going to do. Because I don't have all day, and I'm not going to start this video all over again. How's that sound? If I had all day, I'd grow my beard right back, and I'd have it. How's that sound? All right, European model. Here we go. Here we go, folks. All right, thanks for hanging with me. What we're going to do is take a look at the multi-parameter, and this breaks down precipitation type. We'll start with the United States, then I'll zoom in for you. So what we're looking at right now is kind of a bowling ball low off of California. That is going to pull moisture into the southwest. It'll snow in the Four Corners here on Friday and into parts of the Midwest as we get to Friday night and Saturday. Now, Chicago's kind of on the rain-snow line. Could get snow in the northern suburbs or could end up being rain, so that'll depend on this wave coming through. But notice how mild it'll be across the eastern United States up until we reach this front here in southern New England. So we're looking at nothing but rain, maybe even a few thunderstorms in the Mississippi Valley for Friday night, Saturday morning. As this low tracks into the Great Lakes, it'll follow with a shot of cold air, and there's another disturbance back across Colorado on Saturday night and Sunday that we're going to watch. Now, the models are not agreeing on the timing of this piece of energy. Sunday, it's showing the cold air coming into the southeast, and this run doesn't really show the cold air catching up to the moisture. It does have a chilly rain, though, in the Carolinas Sunday night and especially Monday morning, and then it's offshore. It's got snow in the mountains, which shouldn't be a surprise, but this is basically a no storm. And then some more chilly air coming down for the middle of the month that we'll have to keep an eye on. Our forecast continues to show that the waves of cold are coming in for the next couple of weeks, and then as we head towards Christmas, it's going to be warm and wet, unfortunately, which I think we're kind of used to. Now, I'll show you the run from before, the 0Z run, and you'll see a different beat to the drum. So this first wave comes through. We've got warm air in place on Saturday, rain, maybe a few thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday. That moves out, but then the next piece of energy is faster. So the cold air that's building into the Midwest here on Sunday is drawing the moisture up and forming low pressure near the Gulf Coast here. And here we've got some rare snow down into Jackson, Mississippi for overnight Sunday night, and then into Monday morning across the Tennessee Valley. And notice the cold rain here. It'll be a mild rain at the coast on Monday, but as we head on into the nighttime hours, a change over to snow. Now, this unfortunately does not load past. It should, but the website's having issues. But I'll show you the map that we had in our article that shows the continuance of where this ends up going. So Raleigh, Richmond will be kind of on the fringe of what could be a few inches of snow or maybe just a chilly rain, then it ends. But back in the mountains and up into maybe Roanoke and into West Virginia and then back to Middle Tennessee and Alabama, this model is showing significant wet snow on the back edge. But the ensembles are not all in agreement either on that happening. And sometimes the operational model is just one possibility, and then when you look at the ensembles, you see all the possibilities. Now, you can get yourself in a crazy spot taking a look at all this, but here's what I'm going to show you. And this is important. Notice we've got the first storm, which looks pretty likely here in the Great Lakes region. That's over the weekend. That moves out, and then the next wave, there's a lot of disagreement. This is Monday around 1 in the afternoon, and we've got solutions that show Mid-Atlantic snowstorm, Carolina snowstorm, or maybe this wave comes all the way up into the eastern Great Lakes, and it's a no storm here. It's just too mild, or it's just rain and then it moves out, and then the snow follows in the mountains for Monday evening. That could also happen. But we still have at least a small handful of models showing some accumulating snow. This is mainly for the Piedmont and the mountains of the Carolinas. Some of you in upstate South Carolina continue to hammer it to me and say, hey, when are we ever going to see snow? And I just can't promise it to you, but this one ensemble at least shows that possibility, but then other possibilities are not even close. So again, it's really just speculation at this point. We're definitely not making this call this far out. It will change, but something I at least thought we would want to bring to your attention. Now, the GFS model, on the other hand, looks more like a lot of those ensemble solutions that show the wave opening up into a trough, and we just have chilly air coming in and mountain and Great Lakes snow. Nothing too special at this point, but this model, the GFS, shows more trouble down the road potentially later next week, and this is an upper level low coming down and cutting off over Texas. Here we have a storm forming over the Gulf of Mexico, and there's a supply of cold air in place. So never say never is what we're saying if the GFS is right. Now, this model just has a chilly rain and then maybe a little bit of front-running ice and then snow as these features, the northern branch and the southern branch, don't really link up. And that, of course, will not lead to a winter storm for us here in the southeast. But what I did see earlier on the GFS was some slower solution here. It actually had at least some potential for southern snow. Now, it would be back in Texas at this point, but at least that potential was there. And then the run before was a little bit more promising, I will say that, in that it showed at least some cold air being supplied ahead of this storm. And, well, this one looks like rain. A little bit farther out, we had a little bit of wintry weather. Here's the 18Z, and you can see here's the cutoff low a little bit farther down. So at least a little more potential if this lines up where the cold air catches up to a low that moves into Florida. This would be a similar setup to what we saw here on Monday in the Carolinas. Also, I'll go ahead and show you, I don't think it's going to be a super great model to look at by any measure, but the Canadian model does show at least a little bit of trouble next week, not from this leading system that comes through on Monday, but from the one behind it. It's faster with this trough, and what happens is you have a two-piece system, kind of a Miller A solution for those of you keeping track at home, And this could be more of a mid-Atlantic storm, but ice would be a potential issue in parts of the northern Piedmont and North Carolina. And here you have some snow back here. So the GFS looks a little bit more like the European from earlier today. This storm, though, would be later on towards the middle of the week and then moving out from the northeast by Friday. And then we have some cool air coming in, but eventually it does warm up for the week leading up to Christmas. So my take-home point for you guys is, at this point, I don't have any freaking idea what's really going to happen. All I can say is that possibility is there. But we'll keep an eye on it for you, because seeing an operational run of the Canadian and seeing an operational run of the European showing the cold air meeting up with the moisture definitely gets us a little bit more excited than what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. So that's for sure. But this could end up just blowing up in our face and being a whole lot of nothing, where it's just mountain and lake effect snow and it's just chilly and dry next week, with a warming trend heading into the week of the 21st of December. So that's kind of my take home for you guys. But we're going to have a lot more for you in the coming days when we know more. Right now, some uncertainty in this timing, but at least to take a stab at any potential spot, this would be the area we'd be watching at this point, mainly for Sunday and Sunday evening back in here, and then Monday evening up into the Mid-Atlantic region. So that's what I have for you all. I hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel and send me your comments. I'm going to do my best to answer questions, but do know that this forecast is likely to change quite a bit in the next couple of days. All right, folks, have a great, wonderful rest of your day, and God bless.